Hi, it's Christine with MoonshineSafari and...
Anthony with MoonshineSafari.
Woo!
Yeehaw.
Alright, so we are up to episode 9 in the Outlander series, the original series. And just as a reminder, there are spoilers for both the books and the series. If you don't want to be spoiled, you shouldn't listen, but you do want to be spoiled, so you should listen.
Get spoiled.
Get spoiled. So, just as also another reminder, the episodes are not as clear-cut versus the chapters anymore. We're going to do the best we can to try to keep them as organized as possible, but it starts to get a little muddled. The episode 9 is actually part of chapter 21 in the Outlander books, and it's also chapter 22, so that's part of it as well. In the episode, it opens with Jamie kind of talking to himself and reflecting on choices and how his life has gone, and it's kind of interesting. It's not in the books, but it's kind of interesting. In the background, when you hear him talking, somebody starts walking up to him, and you realize at some point that it's Lyra, which is going to be important. So clearly, when the episode opens, he's back at Castle Leon. So we know that all of the stuff that's happened with the rescue and all that's already happened. Cut back now to their meeting with Horrocks. Now, as a reminder, Horrocks is the English deserter that was supposed to potentially help Jamie clear his name because someone saw that he didn't murder the person that he's accused of murdering, which is why he has a price on his head and he's wanted. So they went to go meet with this guy, and it's interesting because in the show, when they're about to meet with him, Dougal's the one telling Jamie, not thinking I really extra trust him. Jamie seems a little bit more trusting in the shows. In the books, it's pretty clear that Jamie hardly trusts anyone. In fact, he says that there are very few people, he tells Claire more than once, there's very few people in this world that I trust. Clearly, an English deserter that they're buying information from is probably not one of them. Cut back to that. There's meeting with Horrocks, and Horrocks says, okay, I want the gold for the information. They give him the gold. Horrocks says, yeah, the guy who murdered, person you're accused of murdering, it was actually Blackjack Randall.
Dun, dun, dun.
Who actually committed the murder.
Wah, wah.
So it's really not going to help them to go back to Blackjack Randall and say, by the way, Jamie didn't do it, you did it. That's not going to get him anywhere because he probably already knows he did it. Not too worried about it. He just wants Jamie basically dead, really is what it comes down to.
Does he want him dead?
Well,
or does he just want him?
Wants him.
Oh,
maybe a little bit of both. Hard to tell.
Boy.
He's weird. He's weird and gross. Okay. Actually, once Horrocks tells them that it was Blackjack, some of the guys want to get him. But Jamie's like, no, we did. We bargained for some information. He gave it to us. Let him go. That guy's going to figure in later as well. So keep that guy in your mind. That's a plot point. As he's leaving, Geordie rides up. And if you remember in the episode, Geordie was the one that was assigned to stay with Claire. And she had kind of walked away while he was having his potty time farther away from her. And he rides up in a huff saying, hey, she got taken. She was thrashing. She was fighting. So essentially what he's telling him is clear that she wasn't trying to go with the English people. They came and got her.
Right.
So they know now everybody's freaking out. They gotta go get Claire.
Again.
They gotta go rescue Claire.
Again.
Oh, shoot.
Well, to be fair, I don't know if it was her fault this time, but...
Well, it's the same thing Jamie does tell her eventually. If she had stayed where she was supposed to stay, she wouldn't have gotten taken. On the other hand, if she was really trying to get back to Frank Who, she saw the stones, theoretically that's what she was moving towards. So it's like, you can see, but yeah, if she had stayed, she wouldn't have gone. So.
Well, if it wasn't for the fact that it's taken a long time to get back to... Well, I know she was trying to find where the stones were, but anyway.
It's taken a long time.
It's been a while.
It's been a couple of months, maybe.
And already married.
I can't remember. And she is already married again. She's already been almost raped. She's married, been doing a lot of stuff.
They moved fast back in that time.
They did.
We thought we moved fast now.
Well, they got old really fast. At the 30, they're like, oh, you're about to die.
Okay.
Okay, now we shift to the rescue, and they are sneaking in to the prison. And this is a prison that Jamie was at. This is where Jamie was flogged. So this is kind of a big deal that he's even sneaking in there. Now, it's interesting in the show, it's kind of different than they portray it in the books. In the show, Ned actually tells them, don't load your muskets. Nobody can kill anybody. Go in there without loaded guns. Okay, if you ever read the books and stuff, they would never say that because they might have to kill somebody just to get out. So they wouldn't have said that. That's not what happened. But in the show, that is what happened. So they sneak in without any muskets loaded or anything like that. So then obviously we are seeing now the scene where Jamie's in the window, but we're seeing it from the other end. And that is that he's seeing it. He's sitting in the window. He is pointing his gun at Blackjack, and Claire is about to get assaulted. They're kind of of at a standstill. Blackjack is thrilled that Jamie is the one that actually married Claire. That's the same.
The actor, when he looks into he's just having this moment like he recognizes it's him in the window, and he's elated. He's just
thrilled.
He's so happy with himself. He's got Claire there and Jamie's in the window.
And he's got Jamie right where he wants him because he knows he wants Claire. And he actually
says,
that
Jamie in the window.
Right. Laddie, I don't know. Anyway, so he says, and he actually makes this comment in the show where, how's the handiwork that I did on your back doing? Can I see it? Creep, weirdo, gross person. Anyway, so yeah, that's happening. Blackjack basically says, look, you better drop your gun or I'm going to cut her throat. And he does have Claire in a chokehold. He's got a knife up to her throat. He could easily kill her like within about a second. So Jamie drops his gun. We know, because Ned said to not go in with muskets loaded, that there's no bullets in that gun anyway. I don't know if that's how you say it. It's a musket. There's no powder or whatever. It's not ready to shoot. So now Blackjack thinks he has everything. He has Jamie right here. He has Claire and he has the gun. So he at some point puts down the knife to pick up the gun. And of course, everything shifts.
Yes.
He lets him.
Reach for the gun.
Jamie takes the knife.
He gets the knife.
He does take the knife. He knocks Blackjack out and they take off.
Skied out.
And so at some point, Claire realizes that they broke in with no bullets in the guns because Blackjack finds out there's no bullets when he tries to shoot Jamie.
Right.
And it doesn't go off.
It goes click.
Click, click. Interesting though, the way he holds the gun up like you kind of would now with just one hand with the way the muskets were. Would you have even done it that way?
It's not a musket. It was a pistol.
It was a pistol?
Yeah, it was a pistol. I mean, you load those the same way as you do the muskets. It's still black powder with one ball.
But would you still hold it up just with one hand like that? Or would you? Okay, because I just thought they were heavier and stuff.
Absolutely. Well, no, not heavier than a musket.
Okay.
The musket takes two hands. It's more like a rifle, and the like shoulder mounted, and the pistol that he was using was in his hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious. In the books, it's clear that what happened is basically they'd already used all whatever powder and stuff they came in with, so he didn't have any left, but he decided to fudge it anyway. So bluffed. And it worked, obviously. So then they're having to escape, and they jump into the water from the wall. Of course, again, that's a little bit different than the books. In the books, they shimmy down, they jump on some horses, and they're out.
Shimmy.
In the show, they actually jump out of which is obviously more dramatic, especially for a show. They jump out the window into the water and have to swim, which would not be fun. That far, you can't see.
Especially with the amount of clothes that you wore back in the day. It's not like the women just wore shorts and a little shirt. They were covered in everything.
And it's probably cold.
Probably.
Yeah. So they got to get away. So after they've gotten away a little bit, they stop and Jamie is looking, they're kind of talking to each other and he's asking her if she's okay. And then he goes, okay, well, he basically says, okay, I'm waiting. And she's like, for what? And he's like, an apology, And she goes, you want me to apologize for getting taken? And he's going, well, frick yeah, I want you to apologize if you would have stayed where you were supposed to stay. And this part of the argument's very similar to the books. He's basically going, look, if you were to stay where I told you to stay, you wouldn't have gotten taken in the first place, and we wouldn't have had to go get you, and everybody's everybody's in danger because they're trying to get you out of there.
Again.
And it's like, you did a bad thing. You understand that. And at first she's mad. At some point she realizes, even in the show, that how hard it was for him because he went back to the place where he almost died. We find out eventually that his father actually did die pretty much there. He got his stroke there watching Jamie get hurt. So there's a lot of bad things that have happened in this prison for him, and he went in there anyway, guns blazing, quote unquote, to get her out. So it's a big deal. So she does apologize. She says she's really, really sorry, and they kind of make up a little bit. And
that's just because she didn't want to get spanked again.
She hadn't gotten spanked in the show yet.
Oh crap.
It's getting ready to happen.
Spoiler.
It's fixing to happen. So they stop to sleep at this inn. Claire's trying to be friendly with everybody, but the men are giving her the cold shoulder. That's similar in the way it happens with the book. They're mad because she got them in danger. She hasn't paid any consequences for it yet. So they really want that.
I can feel their pain. Sometimes people just need
need
a spanking.
Need a punishment.
They need a spanking.
Need some consequences.
They do. A little bit of consequence might be helpful. But be careful saying that because that comes right back to you.
It does that. Sometimes we all kind of need it. Murtaugh tells Jamie that she just doesn't get it, and Jamie in the show goes, yeah, I know, it's my duty to make sure she does. So it's like, whatever. He goes into the room and he goes, okay, we have one more piece of business, Claire. And this is kind of similar where she's fighting him. She doesn't want to do it. And he, like, really physically, she can't stop him. If he wants to do it, he's going to do it. The men are not going to help her stop him. Nobody else is going to help her not take this punishment. So it is going to be what it is.
He's trying to do it as diplomatically as possible, but I'll tell you, this is one of my favorite parts of it.
Well, he does. There are some comments that are very similar to the book where he goes, I didn't say I wasn't going to enjoy it. So it's actually pretty funny, I think. But everyone can hear, obviously, she's screaming and all of that stuff. They actually are still happy that she's getting it done. So they're going back to Leok, and the next day, the men are kind of thinking it's funny because they say, well, they offer her a seat at the table. Now they're friendly because now she's gotten consequences. Still not friendly again. They say, do you want to sit down? She goes, no, thank you, I'll stand. They all think that's very funny, right? Exactly. So anyway, they head on back to Leok. So when they get to Leok, everyone is thrilled and congratulating them and all of that stuff. Colum not looking real happy. Okay, so that's kind of important. They all find out that he's married. Lyra is looking like somebody just peed in her Cheerios, basically, but it's like, whatever, shock. So Colum actually is also not happy that no one consulted him about the wedding, but then they're saying, there really couldn't. There wasn't time. This had to be done quickly. So he also confronts them about the fact they were collecting for the Jacobites. So the question really becomes, how does Colum know that they were collecting for the Jack? And it's different than it plays out in the book, really. The guy the young kid that was basically supposed to be babysitting Claire, he's the one that kind of outed the whole thing, but that's just because he felt like he was showing his loyalty to his laird. Nothing was intended and everyone gets past it, but Colum knows that they're collecting, and at some point he first takes the gold and he's not going to let them have it. Kind of important as well. Jamie kind of tells Colum, I know you're not happy with me, but if the smart move is there is no Jacobite army at this point. Let him play. Just give him the gold. Let him go on about his business. Probably nothing will ever come of it. And if it does, then you'll be able to figure out what you need to do. But for now, if you take the gold from Dougal, it's going to be problems for you guys. So just give it to him. And Colum does it. So this is where you see Colum relying on some of Jamie's intuition about it. It doesn't really happen that way in the books, but they are similar and very thinking people. Whereas Dougal's very reactionary and Colum and Jamie are very thoughtful and planning and stuff. Not so impulsive. So you find out that someone is coming to see them, and it's very important. The Duke of Sandringham. So the Duke of Sandringham, since they know that they're not going to be able to use Horrocks to clear Jamie's name, they're hoping that the Duke of Sandringham might help them clear Jamie's name, maybe even get a pardon or something like that. And the problem is that Claire already knows from Frank Who in the future that it's possible that the Duke of Sandringham was the benefactor for Blackjack Randall, and therefore he is not going to help them in any way, shape, or form. He's not going to do anything to help them because he's protecting Blackjack, and he always has been protecting Blackjack.
He's a bad man.
He's a bad man. And also, it's funny because in the books it kind of goes into more detail about the fact that he has his sexual proclivities that people are very aware of.
The guy that plays him, the actor who plays him in the show is really good.
Oh, he's good. He's the guy he plays a lot of people, but I always think of him for Weddings and a Funeral because he's so crazy.
He's the guy who dies.
I know that.
Spoil that one for you if you haven't seen that one.
Spoiler.
He's really fun.
We did say spoiler alert.
He's fun.
And then there's a little part where this is not in the book, but it's essentially the part that it opens with where Lyra's walking up to Jamie and she tells him that she's hurt, but she feels bad for him because he had to marry Claire. And we know Jamie's really upset about it.
You feel bad for her too.
And she asks for some bomb chicka wow, and she is rejected. So she runs away, and Claire is still mad. They have an argument, and he actually apologizes. Not really in the book. He doesn't really apologize in the book. But the part where he does take his oath, like the oath taking in the very beginning of the books, he takes his oath to her. He swears on the jerk that he'll never raise a hand to her again. That is almost word for word. It's kind of interesting. After some bomb chicka wow time, after they make up, they find a weird assortment of herbs and things under her bed, and it turns out Jamie says it's an ill wish, which means somebody was trying to do some whatever their kind of magic was.
Voodoo.
And put a curse on Claire.
It was a curse bag.
Exactly.
X bag.
And so Claire's mad. She has a good idea of how that's going to turn out, but she's pretty mad.
Watch Supernatural. You'll learn all you need to know about
exactly.
hex bags.
The curse, the heck bags or whatever. She knows it's Lyra. So she knows that Lyra is a recurring issue. She kind of confronts her about it. And that's pretty much how the episode ends. We're going to go back to the chapters again the next time around so we can catch up to where it is. Because like I said, they're not exactly cutting off anymore. Also, we have been covering covering Blood of My Blood. So if you're watching that, I'm kind of trying to fit it in with what we know about the books and stuff too. So if that interests you, we would love it if you check it out. Also check out MoonshineSafari.com for any past episodes we have, and we do some cool cryptid stuff. Really.
Yeah, thank you. We have 1,300 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you so much
Woo-hoo,
for
thank
sharing
you.
and,
It's fun for us.
and liking and subscribing and all that fun stuff. We sure appreciate it.
And do it more.
Also, we have a couple other affiliate type channels that are coming up. If you like meditation and frequencies and things like that, you can check out. We'll put a link in the description below. Moth Light Meditation. If you like game playthroughs and current games, we have one of those for you too.
Moth
It's
Rex, I think.
Moth Rex on YouTube. You can look it up, but we'll have links down in the description below.
We will. All right. And again, thanks again. We will